BP's blowout preventer removed from the seafloor. Investigation turns to why the 5-story device failed to stop oil spill. A crane hoisted a key piece of oil spill evidence from the Gulf of Mexico on Saturday, giving investigators their first chance to personally scrutinize the blowout preventer, the massive piece of equipment that failed to stop the gusher 4 months ago. It took 29.5 hours to lift the 50-foot, 300-ton blowout preventer from a mile beneath the sea to the surface. The 5-story high device breached the water's surface at 6:54 p.m. Central Daylight Time and looked to be largely intact, with black stains on the yellow metal. The crane lowered the blowout preventer onto a huge shipping skid on the deck of the Helix Q4000 vessel at 9:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time. FBI agents were among the 137 people aboard the vessel and had already started taking photos and video of the device. They will escort it back to a NASA faculty in Louisiana for analysis. Crews have been delayed after ice-like crystals called hydrates formed on the blowout preventer. The device couldn't be safely hoisted from the water until the hydrates melted because the hydrates are combustible, said Darren Hilton, the captain of the Helix Q4000. Hydrates form when gases such as methane mix with water under high pressure and cold temperatures. The crystals caused BP PLC problems in May when hydrates formed on a 100-ton, 4-story dome the company tried to place over the lake to contain it. The April 20th explosion aboard the Deepwater Horizon killed 11 workers and led to at least 206 million gallons of oil spewing from BP PLC's undersea well. And oil, natural gas, methane, or methane bubbles are still seeping up from the seafloor or the seabed. In other words, it's no longer gushing like it was before, but the nature of the oil spill or oil leak is now become a seeping from the seabed or the seafloor all around the Macondo oil well in unknown quantities, and this could go on for a very long time. Even tar balls can be seen seeping or coming up through the seafloor. As a large hatch opened up on the Helix to allow the blowout preventer to pass through, several hundred feet of light sheen could be seen near the boat, though crews weren't exactly sure what it was. Investigators know the explosion was triggered by a bubble of methane gas that escaped from the well and shot up the drill column, expanding quickly as it burst through several seals and barriers before igniting. But they don't know exactly how or why the gas escaped. They don't know why the blowout preventer didn't seal the well pipe at the sea bottom after the eruption, as it was supposed to. While the device didn't close, or may have closed partially, investigative hearings have produced no clear picture of why it didn't plug the well. Documents emerged showing that a part of the device had a hydraulic leak which would have reduced its effectiveness, but a passive dead man trigger had a low, perhaps even dead battery. Steve Newman, president of rig owner Transocean, told lawmakers following the disaster that there was no evidence the device itself failed, and has suggested debris might have been forced into it by the surging gas. There has also been testimony that the blowout preventer didn't undergo a rigorous recertification process in 2005 as required by federal regulators. Recertifying the 5-story device requires completely disassembling it out of the water and can take as long as 3 months to complete. Testimony from BP and Transocean officials also showed that repairs were not always authorized by the manufacturer, Cameron International, and that confusion about the equipment delayed attempts to close the well in the days after the explosion. A Transocean official has said he knew the blowout preventer was functioning because he personally oversaw its maintenance. He said the device underwent tests to ensure it was working. The device, he said, had undergone a maintenance overhaul in February as it was being moved to the Deepwater Horizon be placed over BP's well. Also, according to testimony, a BP well site leader performed a pressure test April 9th on the blowout preventer, and he said it had passed. A Rice University engineering professor said the blowout preventer should have sheared through the drill pipe and shut off the flow of oil. There may have been two sections of drill pipe, or a thicker section called the collar, that the blowout preventer could not shear through, he said. He also said the device's hardware was changed, but the on-site drawings were not updated to reflect the changes. Investigators will be looking for any other discrepancies between the device and its drawings. In short, the BOP failed to do its function. It is important to determine why, so that it does not occur again. However, some have cautioned that the blowout preventer will not provide clues to what caused the gas bubble, and it is possible a thorough review may not be able to show why it didn't work. That could leave investigators to speculate on causes using data, records, and testimony. Lawyers will be watching closely too, as hundreds of lawsuits have been filed over the oil spill. Future liabilities faced by a number of corporations could be riding on what the analysis of the blowout preventer shows. A temporary cap that stopped oil from gushing into the Gulf in mid-July was removed on Thursday. Hopefully, they say, no more oil was expected to gush into the sea, but crews were standing by with collection vessels just in case. The government said a new blowout preventer was placed on the blown-out well late Friday. Officials wanted to replace the failed blowout preventer first to deal with any more pressure that is caused when a relief well BP has been drilling supposedly intersects the blown-out well. But again, leaking or seeping up from the seafloor, the seabed. It's not gushing out of the wellhead anymore. And there's something much bigger going on here, because everything is connected and everything is numbered. Again, Revelation chapter 8 verse 6, and the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. 8. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became as blood. Revelation chapter 16. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. 2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. 3. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. 4. The third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became as blood, and all these or more signs of the end times, transition days, which is a continuing daily process happening all around the world.